What happens when a British automotive visionary and a performance-obsessed company join forces? You get the Austin Healey, a sports car legend born from racing, rivalry, and a touch of rebellion. Donald Healey was more than just a name on the bonnet of a sports car. He was a visionary, a racer, and an engineer whose life story is as captivating as the machines he created. Born on July 3, 1898, in Perranporth, Cornwall, Healey's fascination with mechanics sparked at an early age. Despite his humble beginnings in a small seaside town, he developed a keen interest in both aviation and automobiles. During World War I, Healey served as a pilot in the Royal Flying Corps. This experience not only sharpened his technical skills, but also fueled his passion for high-performance engineering. Following the armistice, he returned to Cornwall and pursued a correspondence course in automobile engineering. In 1920, he opened the first garage in Perranporth, a bold move that marked the beginning of his professional journey in the automotive world. However, Healey's true passion lay beyond the confines of his garage and car hire business. He soon turned his attention to rally driving and motor racing, using his garage to prepare cars for competition. His first entry into the Monte Carlo Rally came in 1929, driving a Triumph 7. Just 2 years later, in 1931, Healey achieved a remarkable victory, winning the Monte Carlo Rally in a 4.5-litre Invicta. He returned the following year and secured second place overall, further solidifying his reputation as both a skilled driver and an innovative thinker. With his motorsport success opening new doors, Healey sold his garage and moved to the Midlands to fully immerse himself in the automotive industry. He joined Riley briefly before finding his true stride at the Triumph Motor Company, where he worked as an experimental manager. His talent quickly earned him a promotion to technical director, giving him full responsibility for the design of all Triumph cars. It was during this time that he helped develop the Triumph Dolomite, a car inspired by the Alfa Romeo 8C, blending sleek design with impressive speed. With the end of World War II in 1945, Donald Healey took a bold step and founded the Donald Healey Motor Company in Warwick, England. His goal was clear: to build high-performance, stylish sports cars that combined his engineering expertise with his racing pedigree. The company's first car, the Healy Elliott, stunned the motoring world by becoming the fastest production saloon car of its era, reaching a top speed of 104.7 miles per hour, a remarkable feat for the late 1940s. Healey's relentless pursuit of performance and design excellence set the stage for one of the most iconic collaborations in British motoring history. Donald Healey's first taste of the American car market came when, in December 1949, he sailed to the USA hoping to secure a contract from General Motors to supply Cadillac's 5.4-litre V8 engines for his club racer, the Healy Silverstone. While on board the ship, Donald Healey happened to meet George Mason, the president of Nash Kelvinator. Healey shared his idea of winning a contract for Cadillac engines, and Mason told Healey to contact him should Healey's proposal be rejected. When GM turned Healey down, he contacted Mason, and development of the Nash Healey started. The Nash Healey made its official debut in February of the following year at the 1951 Chicago Auto Show. The Nash Healey was a luxury sports car and was produced from 1951 to 1954. It was marketed by Nash Kelvinator to promote sales of its Nash Motors division. By 1954, Nash Motors was experiencing financial difficulties. An improvement of the Nash Healey had stalled as a result of Nash Kelvinator having been reorganized as a division of American Motors. Development funds were scarce, and in 1954 production of the Nash Healey ceased. Donald Healey had his sights set on the American market, envisioning a lightweight, affordable sports car capable of reaching 100 miles per hour. His vision materialized in the form of the Healey 100, which debuted at the 1952 London Motor Show to overwhelming acclaim, so much so that 3,000 orders were placed during the event. That very evening, Healey met with Leonard Lord, the head of Austin Motor Company. Their meeting resulted in a swift and impactful agreement, Lord would acquire the rights to the Healy 100 and enter into a 20-year partnership with Donald Healey. The Austin Healey line debuted with the striking 100 series, a sleek roadster powered by a 2.6-litre four-cylinder engine capable of reaching 100 miles per hour, hence the name. This was followed by the 100M, a high-performance variant that famously secured a class victory at the 1955 24 Hours of Le Mans, cementing its racing credentials. The evolution continued with the 106, which introduced a more powerful six-cylinder engine, offering improved performance and comfort. Finally, the iconic 3000, affectionately known as the Big Healy, combined raw power with refined styling, becoming a favorite both on the road and the rally circuit. Each model reflected Donald Healey's unwavering dedication to speed, innovation, and elegance. As the 1960s rolled on, new safety regulations, stricter emissions rules, and corporate changes at BMC began to squeeze small sports car makers. The 20-year partnership ended in 1972, marking the end of the Austin Healey era. Other Healey sports cars of note. During his contract period with Austin, Donald Healey also developed the Austin Healey Sprite, a small sports car whose production went from 1958 until 1971. Donald Healey became a director of Jensen Motors in the late 1960s, and in 1972 introduced the Lotus 907-engined Jensen Healey. Production of the Jensen Healey ceased in 1976. Donald Healey wasn't just a car maker. He was a pioneer who pushed the boundaries of what a sports car could be. His life's work serves as a powerful reminder that the greatest cars often come from the boldest minds. Although the Austin Healey product line is now past, the brand lives on in the hearts and minds of enthusiasts worldwide. The Healey name commands respect. It lives on, resonating with collectors, classic sports car restorers, and tribute car builders everywhere. Enigma, a word that evokes mystery, intrigue, and the unknown. But what happens when that enigma takes the form of a sports car? A car that merges classic British motoring heritage with modern engineering excellence. Today, we unravel the story of the Healy Enigma. Our journey began last year at the Newark Kit Car Show, where we stumbled upon a car that stopped us in our tracks, the Healy Enigma. A mark unknown to us at the time, but one that demanded our attention.
What's this car here, guys?
Have a look. Ooh.
I do not recognize that.
No, got me.
It looks a bit like the Sebring. You know the Sebrings?
Yes.
Yeah.
Could ask. I mean, it's got Enigma, and it is an Enigma. It is true to its name.
Oh, it's an
Well, there you
Enigma.
go.
Oh, it's an Enigma. Yeah.
It's an enigma.
But I don't know the HD. Yeah. Looks like probably an MX-5 donor, looking at the shape of the windows and the top. Probably front engine rear-wheel drive. Yeah, so it's probably an MX-5.
That's
MX-5.
what the Miata Kit Car Club says that it is. The Healy Enigma is a Miata-based or MX-5-based kit car.
I quite like that. It's got the MX-5 rear hoops on the rear as well, isn't it?
Yeah, the dash looks different though. I think they've done some good work with the dash. So
Yeah.
quick, let's see if we can get you in here. Bear with me. There we go.
Upholstery looks nice.
They've redone the interior completely,
Yeah.
haven't they? Yeah. Yeah, definitely MX5 that.
Wow. By kit car standards, that's nicely fleshed out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it does look actually a relatively well put together car. I quite like it. Yeah.
Curiosity piqued, we delved into the roots of Enigma, tracing its lineage back to the iconic Austin Healey 3000. A car that ruled the roads and rally stages of the 1950s and 60s. The Austin Healey 3000's legacy lives on not only in original restorations, but also through modern tribute cars, like the Sebring Roadster, which we previewed at the National Kit Car Show last year.
And going from one extreme to the other, we've got the Sebring over here. Now,
Yes.
you could almost argue this was not quite, but sort of the English Cobra, which was the Austin Healey.
Yeah.
And this is obviously a recreation, but I noticed it's got a small block Chevy V8 under it. But as what the kit car industry can do, it's not a replica, is it? Because it's got slightly flared arches and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so like, I mean, to be fair, I guess it's a bit ahead of its time. So, today you see in the mainstream industry, they're doing sort of resto mod things. You see the single Porsches. It's sort of like that idea. It's not based on an original car. I mean, it's got a proper separate chassis. Underneath, it's not dissimilar to what a lot of the Cobra manufacturers were doing at the time. Sebring were a super popular manufacturer. They are still around, but they don't produce kits, and it's a new company. Yeah, we can't really get into that because they're doing lots of exciting things, and I don't know what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say. But yeah, I think it's a great looking thing. It's a lot of fun. This car is actually for sale. I don't know if it will be at the time of this goes out, but yeah, I just think what a thing.
I agree, and I think it's just you would turn up at a classic car show on that, and you certainly wouldn't get turned away, would you?
Oh, absolutely not.
No.
As it happens, Sebring has sold their assets to Sebring Works, who are introducing a line of electric cars, which includes their version of the Sebring Roadster. The question lingered: how does the Healy Enigma fit into this legacy? Determined to learn more, we tracked down Peter Staniforth, the man behind the Healy Enigma we saw at Newark. Having found Peter, we dispatched Jake McGee, our on-the-spot reporter, to record an interview. Peter's journey from kit car enthusiast to Enigma builder unfolded before us, offering insights into the passion and precision poured into this machine.
Hey guys, this is Jake from 7 Spot. Welcome to the channel. And you join me here today at Peter's property, who has built an absolute gem of a car called the Healy Enigma. Now, I hadn't heard of this before until Jim gave me the chance to interview Peter to have a look around this car. He'd actually built it all himself. He's an absolute genius with cars, built many cars in the past, and stunning car. Now, the looks of it, it is a kit car. Now, the looks of it, this is the way I think. The front end, if you were to, let's say, get a Mini and a Bentley, and if cars could go to nightclubs and have a bit of fun with each other, and 9 months down the line, one of the cars fell pregnant, if we will, I believe this is sort of what you'd get, an absolute gem. And so let's go and have a look at it. So welcome, guys. Here we are in Peter's lair. Welcome, Peter.
Hiya.
Welcome to 7 Spot, guys. And here we are, this beautiful Enigma. Absolutely beautiful. So, Peter, what sort of made you build and look for a car like this?
Age. Age mainly.
Age mainly.
Yeah. I started off, I did have a GTM K3 to start with. Wasn't happy how the way it drove. So I stripped it right the way down to bare bones. Made a new subframe, all the rest of it. And by the time I'd finished, I realised I couldn't get in it.
Oh, never.
Because it was so low. So I was looking around for something else. Saw this at the Donington Kit Car Show.
Sure.
Had a chat, and yeah, this is where it started. It's a case of it's big enough for me. They do a soft top version and a hard top one.
Right.
I don't trust people out there with Stanley knives, so I went for the hard top.
Excellent. Yeah.
which is what's needed. Really.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Good idea.
I approached Healy Designs, who designed the car, and got the chassis on April Fool's Day, which should have told me something. It was a case of, it's April Fool's Day and I'm just picking up a chassis. This is not good. However, 4 years after that, this is what we've ended up with.
Excellent stuff. So regarding the Enigma then, is this a car that you can build as a kit that they send you, or can you buy this from the factory as well?
You can buy this, it's sold mainly as a turnkey.
Turnkey, right.
Yeah. However, if you really pester him, he will give you the chassis and the body panels. He will sell you those.
Oh, wow.
Which is what I did.
Of course, yeah.
Because I like getting my hands dirty, that's top and bottom of it.
Well, I understand that there's nothing that you can't do with cars.
Well, I've got an engineering background, so I'm jack of all trades, master at none, if you like. But I'm capable of making the majority of things anyway. So,
excellent.
Yeah, the chassis was picked up in April. I made a rotisserie so that I didn't have to crawl around underneath it to put the brake lines and stuff in.
Sure.
And paint it, because the chassis comes in black, and if you go underneath a car and it's black, can't see anything, can you?
Of course,
so
no problem. Yeah.
I painted it silver underneath, just so you can see where everything is when you're under there, you know.
So regarding this car, when you were building it, then I understand that this car comes with 2 types of engines. Which is the particular one that you wanted to fit? I
always wanted a V8. Because it's Mazda MX-5 Mark III based, it will take everything Mazda MX-5, including the engine, which is 160 horsepower. There's one over there in the corner, which I took out, but I wanted to build something with a V8 in it.
Wow, V8.
And looking round, when I spoke to Martin, it was a case of the Lexus V8 is the one to go for. It's the only one that's going to get through emissions easily.
Yeah.
And it's not massively powerful, 260 horsepower compared to some of the other stuff. The Rovers, even carburetor versions, they're going to struggle to get to that, and emissions are a nightmare with them.
So would you say the 2-litre engine for this particular car is probably slightly underpowered for this car?
Yeah, it's adequate. I mean, this is built as a touring car.
Yeah, sure.
Rather than a racetrack job. So yeah, the engine, there is a few out there that's got the 160s in.
Sure.
Perfectly adequate for what they want. You know, it's a nice car to drive. But the V8 bug was in there.
Obviously, we all like a good V8, don't we, guys?
Oh, this is it. So it was a matter of get the donor vehicles first. I was told anything under 120,000 miles was a good engine.
Okay.
This one's done 48, I think, when I bought it.
So it's not even running then.
Full service history and everything else with it. The car was a write-off, a 97, because there was a slight dint in the wing.
Oh, okay.
And at that age, it would have cost more for Lexus to knock it out and paint the wing than the car was worth.
Yeah. So the engine lives on in this beautiful
piece of kit. So for £500, I went down to London, drove the car back and ran it for a month. Perfect, just to make sure that everything worked. So when the engine did come out, and the scrap people took the rest away, I had to turn me back because it was such a gorgeous car.
Oh, never.
But never mind. I wanted the engine, transmission, prop shaft, and the ECU and everything else for this, and that's what I ended up with. The Mazda donor I got from Co-Parts. I wanted the 160 particularly because it's got the limited slip diff.
Nice.
And I need it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I need it for this. So that's the reason for going for that. It was a hard top. It was 2 lady owners from new. It had taken a shunt up the backside. Everything else was fine. None of it structurally bad.
Good.
From what I needed, which was the front subframe, rear subframe,
yeah,
doors, hard top, the deck,
yeah,
everything in the middle, all the interior is stock MX-5, albeit reupholstered in leather and everything else. But yeah, that was it. Strip that down and then get the engine out before I actually picked this up. So all the donor stuff was prepared before I got this.
Excellent.
The actual chassis.
Oh, okay, yeah, good. So you've got all the goodies and the bits and bobs before you got the car all ready to sort of go in.
It's the only way to go, otherwise you end up filling your garage with a big chassis, and then you've nowhere to work.
Sure.
So
Sure.
we stripped the Mazda down, powder coated all the components, the two subframes. The front one needed modifying for the engine. The engine mounts are different. So
we'll just get into the engine. I understand when you laid the engine into this engine bay, and before you had the bonnet fitted,
yeah.
I understand that the bonnet didn't quite come fully down.
No, it didn't.
Tell us a little bit about that.
The intake side of things. On some of the factory cars, they have a welded steel tube that comes down the side of the engine and then round to a cone filter.
Yeah.
Which I did. I bought a nice lump of aluminium, turned it down, beautiful, put it all in. But then when it went for paint, went for the body fitting, the bonnet wouldn't shut because it was too tall.
Oh no!
So I had to redesign the intake.
Yeah.
I wanted the same cross-sectional area.
Of course.
However, I ended up getting a 3D printed elbow coming out of the plenum, 3D printed elbow for the other end, made a steel tubular box, and then glue them all together, finish it off. I'll show you later on. But it's nice and neat, and it comes round. The engine runs fine. So I got my dimensions and everything right, but that was the only way to do it. Apart from slight modification on the inside of the bonnet lid, because it's a double skinned lid.
Yeah.
And I had to carve away part of the lid and then make it pretty before it was painted. But it now shuts, as you can see.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful is what it is.
It does shut fine. But that was just one of the many things that tripped me up along the way. You know, it's like
just
there's no. I've got 1 inch either side of the engine to the chassis. Where do you put the header tank? None of the factory header tanks. The Mazda one wouldn't fit. The Lexus one wouldn't fit. So you go in there with a 6-inch rule and then start measuring. Well, I can make one and fit there. So I end up having to make a stainless steel header tank that sits here just. Same with the windscreen washer bottle. There's no way room for that.
No.
So I made an aluminium washer box bottle which fits under the wing down here.
Okay, right.
Other than that, it's just general make it up as you go along.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I've got a low roof in here. I've got the engine crane. When you've got the engine up high enough to go over the top to go in, the roof's in the way. So rather than put a new roof on, which I'm not allowed, I end up cutting out the radiator mounting frame, which is literally 20mm square box section. It's not structural.
Right.
So I could go in from the front.
Okay.
And do it that way. And then bolt that back together for the radiator and everything else. The chassis is incredibly hefty. It weighs 375 kilos, I think.
Wow.
So it's all good size box section. The minimum box section is 40 by 40 millimeters. The biggest is 100 by 40.
Right.
Which is running down the main centre.
Sure.
It's all 16 gauge steel plate underneath that's fastened to the chassis and seam welded. It's heavy. In the event of an accident,
God forbid,
help anybody that I hit, because this will not give.
It could be like a tank.
It's not got a crumple zone.
No.
It will make other people crumple, but you know.
Sure.
So yeah, and that's basically it. I got it up to rolling chassis stage by 2019. It went to the NEC. We had a Healy Enigma stand at the Classic and Restoration show.
I see.
I took it down as a rolling chassis. So on the stand, we got the rolling chassis in the middle, a finished V8 at one side, finished 2 litre at the other side,
Great.
One soft top, one hard top. So everything was there. Because the crowd that goes to that is a greasy finger brigade.
Yeah.
They weren't interested in new cars, but when they spotted the rolling chassis,
what's that? Yeah, sure.
Let's come and have a look at this. What's that? How does that go in?
Yeah.
And I debadged the engine purposely to torment people. Because they were coming along saying, no, it's a Ford V8. No, it's not. Oh, it's this, it's that, the other. And then a 12-year-old boy walked past and said, oh, it's the one you said V8. Is it a Gen 1 or a Gen 2?
Oh, okay.
He knew it inside out.
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
so it's the Gen 2, this one.
Oh, okay, I see.
Which has got a really strong bottom end. If you want to get the horsepower out of this, you just slap a supercharger on the top.
Oh, wow.
And that will put you up to an easy 400.
And that's not the avenue you'd like to do with
the
this,
stock
is it?
bottom end, but 260 is more than enough for me. I've not tried it out as what top speed should be, but I backed off.
You can always try.
You can always try. It may go around the track at some stage. Blyton's the nearest.
Sure.
Again,
sure thing.
So I might eventually take it to where there's a nice long straight that I can play with. But
definitely.
Yeah, on the road it cruises nicely at 70.
Sure.
Very economical for the size of engine as well. You know, 30 plus to the gallon. Because the engine's lazily ticking over at just over 2,000 at 70.
Yeah, you're not in the high rev range at all, then, are you?
So if I wanted it to go fast, as in sporty, the back axle would have to be reduced considerably.
Sure.
Just to make it, the power's there.
Power's there, yeah.
It's also got an automatic gearbox, which is not really for track. However, if you do plant your foot in anger,
it wants to go.
It will drop down 2 gears and fly.
Wow. Excellent.
Which is how it is.
Excellent stuff.
The bodywork was fitted by the company purely because I was missing a couple of pieces of chassis anyway. There was an extension that goes on the back that supports the back bodywork, and that needed welding in. So it went back to the factory for the bodywork to be fitted. Slight aside on that, if you don't put 2 10mm spacers on the bottom hinges of the doors, nothing fits.
Okay, right.
Once you know that, fine. But they fit the doors first, and then all the bodywork fits around that.
Sure.
So, and you can get it wrong if you're not careful, which is why I've left it to them. I went on holiday for 10 days and came back. Looks like a car now.
Well, you're certainly doing an absolute cracking job.
But it is a mishmash of different parts. You've got MX-5 in the middle.
Right.
All fiberglass front. Headlights are BMW Mini.
Yeah, I was just about to comment on these actually.
These are from Germany because we need the daylight running lights legally. So these have got daylight running lights in the corners.
Sure.
So they were brought in from Germany. It was BMW Mini. The rear lights are Nissan Micra, which suit the car. It's got all the convenience of a modern car in the fact that it's got electric windows, electric mirrors, aircon, heated seats, all of it.
Yeah, sure.
You know, so once you're sat inside, it's a standard car.
Definitely, yeah. Just regarding the colour of this car, which is really, really special, actually.
Yeah.
Does this come out of the factory in this colour choice, or did you specifically want this sort of colour?
Straightforward gel coat finish straight out the factory. It's up to you what you do.
Sure.
It took me 2 years to actually decide on the colour.
The colour.
There's a variety. There's 1 or 2 out there. We've got a blue one, a red one, a white one, green one. I wanted silver. I was driving a Mercedes at the time, which was iridium silver.
Okay.
But it was a really, really fine silver.
Oh, okay.
When we were down at the NEC, I was walking around with Martin, who's an Aston Martin fan. And there was an Aston Martin in Lightning Silver, which is much more metallic. And he said, that's the one you want. And I think he's right, because it really does pop in the sunshine.
I absolutely agree.
It really does pop in the sunshine. It suits it.
Definitely, yeah.
You know.
I can't help but feel it's very, very sort of Aston Martin sort of look on the front end.
Yeah, there's 2 bonnets. The one that takes the standard Mazda engine is a bit nicer, but this one needs a bit of a bulge.
Definitely.
So it's not the prettiest bonnet out there.
Yeah.
But necessity. It has to have a lump in there because there's a lump underneath.
Sure.
You know.
Sure thing. Yeah.
And that was it. So yeah, it suits the car. I
agree.
Think.
Yeah.
But,
100%. And there's something else I want to cover as well. I believe you did something quite genius on the rear end regarding the fitting for the spare wheel.
Yes, I don't like the idea of aerosol cans full of gunk and a compressor if you do a flat tyre. I want a wheel. Now, the MX-5, you can get an MX-5 get you home skinny wheel.
Sure.
So it was a matter of, I need to make a box that fits underneath the boot floor, that that will take that, which I did. I made an aluminium enclosure that bolted up to the chassis, sits underneath, it slides in, and then where the back bumper is, where the number plate part is, I cut that out and hinged it.
Yeah.
So it now just unlock it, it drops down, and you've got a letterbox for the wheel. And once that was done, I could then buy the silencers to fit myself either side before I then took it down for the exhaust system to be custom made. So it's a case of, there's the engine, there's the two silencers, just join them up and put a big cat in the middle, which is what they did. But until I got the box in for the wheel, then I couldn't decide where they'd need to be. Same applied with the battery. Factory ones have the battery under this wing, which you can't get at. Don't like that idea. So I made a box in the boot floor, fiberglass boot floor, and dropped the battery up there.
Sure.
And then put the jack in another box at the other side. So again, constraints on size. What silencers can I get in, and where can I move things to?
So just slightly moving on to the interior then.
Yeah.
You customised all of the interior.
It's stock MX-5. All I did was have the seats, the dashboard, and everything just reupholstered in leather. While they're doing that, they have to take the airbags out. You're not allowed airbags, even though, to my mind, that's stupid. But nevertheless, the car hasn't been designed for this particular airbag system.
Right.
So the airbag had to come out of the dashboard at the passenger side, out of the steering wheel at this side. Airbags in both seats had to come out. So they'd done that and replaced the areas with foam and just redone it all in leather of my choice, which is a Triumph blue, I think, and I don't know what the silver was.
Okay.
But it looks quite nice.
Yeah, it looks stunning inside. It really does.
I also had I came up with an emblem and had that embroidered in the steering wheel and the backs of the seats, and also on the front of the car, which confuses people because they don't recognise the badge. But no, I designed that. That's why you don't recognise it. But it does say HE-V8, which is Healy Enigma V8. So I know what it means, if no one else. But yeah, it's stock MX-5 in there.
Sure. I must say, you've got an absolutely beautiful car. You've done such a grand job of it, Peter. You really have.
Yeah, it's had its moments, shall we say, during the build, like breaking my hand halfway through and trying to lower it down off the rotisserie and things like that. It slipped, hit my hand on the way down, broke my hand. That was like 6 weeks out, 4 weeks. So you just relax and think what you're going to do next to yourself.
Sure thing.
Which is par for the course.
Sure. Yeah, well, you've certainly done a good job of it, Peter. Now, I think what the viewers really want to hear is the V8 fire up, don't we? We all want to hear that, guys. So join us and we'll fire it up and see what you think of the sound.
Yeah.
All right. Very nice. Here we are, guys, and this is the top going down. Excellent stuff. Just listen to that V8, guys. Beautiful sounding car. So there you have it, guys. Thank you for watching 7 Spot and this episode of Peter's Enigma. And join us in the next episode, whichever car we'll be looking at next. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we'll see you later, guys. Take care.
See you later.
But the story didn't stop there. Peter introduced us to Martin Williamson, the visionary behind Healy Enigma. To bridge the distance, we sent Chris Hollier, a veteran of the kit car scene and former Kit Car magazine editor, to conduct an exclusive factory interview with Martin.